Excuse me, are you absolutely sure it's the right switch? Mike stared at the aging man in a shabby suit, with a receding hairline and oversized rectangular glasses. Yes, damn it, I'm sure. I solved that goddamn math problem correctly, which means we need to press the fourth switch. Got it. The answer was 4. What's so hard to understand? I'm just saying, are you sure about the solution? Maybe we should double check? Our lives are on the line here. Young man, I've been teaching mathematics at the college level for 30 years. Believe me, I've checked. There's no other possible answer. We're wasting time. I'm pressing it. The math professor hit the fourth switch, and with a mechanical hum, the ventilation system kicked back on. The numbered buttons slid seamlessly into the wall, vanishing just as abruptly as they had appeared. A voice crackled from the speaker, addressing the two men trapped in the sterile, white metal room. Congratulations, Professor. You do earn your bread. That was a tricky problem, but you solved it. Fresh air is now flowing back into the room. Unfortunately, there's a catch. Along with the oxygen, a small dose of poisonous gas is also entering. You'll be dead in 20 minutes. Unless, of course, the young man manages to perform 500 squats. That will release the antidote through the vents and save both your lives. You bastard. Mike howled. I've already done push-ups and crunches. I can't take any more. I'm going to die anyway. I'll be generous. The voice continued, with a thin veil of mockery. You may divide the squats between you however you like. Say, the professor does 499, and you do just 1. The professor's composure cracked. Oh dear God, Mike. Let's do it together. I'll squat as much as I can. Come on. We have to try. What's the point? Mike muttered. That sadistic freak's going to kill us anyway. Oh, come now. I'm not some monster. You don't even know who I am or where you are. I always play fair. That's what makes it fun. How many more of these tasks are there? Can't say. Shall we continue? Yes. Yes, the professor cried. Fine, Mike groaned, defeated. Then get moving, the voice urged. Every second, the poison level rises, and that certainly won't give you any more strength. Mike began squatting at a steady pace, eyes scanning the room for a window or camera, anything that might betray the observer's presence. Nothing. Smooth white walls, seamless corners, no exit, no surveillance. The professor moved closer. To the wall. Facing away from it, he completed a squat, barely. On the second, he leaned his backside against the wall, using it as a support. It helped. 10 squats in, and, you're cheating, Professor, the voice returned, sharp and smug. That's against the rules. I'll count only the first squat. The one you did honestly. For Christ's sake, what are you doing? Mike snapped, his voice laced with fury and exhaustion. Do it right. At least make this a little easier on me. Yes, yes. Of course. Forgive me. The professor stepped away from the wall, mopping sweat from his pale face with a trembling handkerchief. He resumed squatting, slowly, awkwardly, wheezing and turning red. Mike had his back to him, unaware of the professor's clumsy effort. He was losing strength fast. His ears rang. Nausea rose in his throat. 300. Mike gasped. What about you? 2. T21. The professor wheezed. You have 5 minutes left, the voice announced. After that, it will be too late. Convulsions, vomiting, internal bleeding, a truly horrific death awaits. And Mike, let's push through. The professor pleaded, barely audible. Mike didn't respond. He couldn't. He no longer had the strength to speak. Darkness crept into the edges of his vision. Sounds became muffled, distant, as if underwater. But he understood. He would go on. Maybe his heart would give out first, sparing him the slow agony the voice had promised. For 140. Mike rasped and collapsed onto his stomach. How many you? Darkness swallowed everything. Mike opened his eyes that he was still in the same room. How long he had been unconscious was unclear, but his strength had returned slightly. He slowly sat up and turned his head. The professor was lying motionless on the floor. Mike crawled over and saw the blood trickling from the man's nose. He touched the professor's cheek, cold. Congratulations, Mike, the voice returned. You've passed this trial as well. The professor managed 62 squats before he died. What now? Mike shouted upward, into the void above. What's the point of all this? You sick bastard. You twisted freak. You think you're God, don't you? I've heard that many times, the voice replied, unfazed. Now for the final task. It was originally designed for two, but unfortunately, Mr. Wilborn, yes, that was his name, has left us. Mike sat on the floor, panting. He decided to conserve his strength and listened in silence. Turn around. He did, and saw a sheet of paper lying on the floor. Where had it come from? He scanned the wall and floor. Nothing. No hatch, no opening. The paper held a math problem. Complex and cruel. Logarithms. Roots. Fractions. Trigonometric functions. What? How am I supposed to solve this? This isn't fair. Just kill me. Don't be so quick to give up. I never assign problems that can't be solved. You have 1 hour. And what happens if I don't? No answer. Instead, there was a low grinding noise. One of the walls crept forward a few inches. I see. I'm just going to be crushed. Wonderful. Mike tried to recall anything from high school math. Nothing useful. The voice echoed again in his mind. I never assign problems without solutions. He thought, that means if he gave me this task, I must be capable of solving it. He's obsessed with fairness. So the answer is within my reach. But how? I can't do this in my head, and the professor's dead. Damn it. Think. 20 minutes. Passed. The wall had moved half a meter closer. Maybe there's a hint somewhere? Something on the walls, on the floor? He searched. Nothing. Smooth, sterile surfaces everywhere. It was meant for two. But the professor's dead. Maybe he can still help me. Maybe he has something in his jacket. An answer sheet. A reference book. The wall advanced again, nudging against Mr. Wilborn's skull. Mike pulled the corpse further from the wall and began rifling through the pockets. A handkerchief. Wait, a folded piece of paper. But it only listed the title of some academic book. Nothing useful that he dug into the inner pocket, and suddenly stopped, stunned. An engineering calculator. Rows of buttons, strange functions, trigonometric operations. Everything he needed. Yes, now I just have to calculate it all. The wall moved closer. Mike's calculations weren't going well. He had to guess at button functions, struggling to recall how to operate memory storage. Worse, he had nowhere to record intermediate results. He couldn't afford to forget a single step. Maybe the professor's paper could work, or the one with the equation. But there was no pen, no pencil, nothing. He searched Wilborn's pockets again. Empty. The wall creaked forward. I never give problems without a solution. Mike repeated the phrase in his head. If I can't properly use the calculator, can't trust my memory, and have no way to write anything down, then there must be a way to write. Somehow. His gaze fell on the dried blood on the professor's face. Blood, of course. I don't have a pen, but I have a finger. I'll write with that. I just need more blood. Mike removed Wilborn's glasses. Snapping one lens free, he began scraping it against the metal floor, trying to sharpen the edge. The wall crept forward again. He now had less than a meter of space. Pressing his left hand against the dead man's jaw, he tilted the head back. With the sharpened lens in his right, he cut Wilborn's throat. More blood than expected poured out. Time was short. Mike set the calculator and equation page near the professor's feet. Left hand, on the calculator. Right index finger, dipped in blood. He crawled between the body and the wall, using the blood to scrawl numbers on the pristine white surface. There was no room on the floor anymore. He wrote on the wall, half. A meter of space remained when he finally calculated the last intermediate result. One final step. If everything was correct, this would be the answer. If not, Mike tapped frantically at the calculator, eyes jumping from its screen to the blood-smeared notes on the wall. The wall groaned. A wet crunch filled the room. Wilborn's ribs collapsing under the pressure. Mike turned sideways just in time to read the number on the calculator. 1. The answer is 1, he shouted to the ceiling, his voice cracking. It's 1. A long pause. The wall didn't move. Then, congratulations. That is correct. The wall slowly retracted. Mike dropped the calculator and collapsed, curling up on the opposite side of the room, far from the corpse. A strange calmness settled over him. He had no questions left. No strength for fear. He drifted into sleep. When Mike opened his eyes again, he saw trees. He was sitting on a bench beside a walking path. Maybe they took me to some park, he thought, trying to get his bearings. That as he turned his head, a girl approached, smiling gently. "Hi, Mike. My name's Lizzie," she said, extending her hand. Mike shook it absent-mindedly. "You know me? Where am I?" His head throbbed. Thinking was hard. "I was in the steel room too. I know what you went through." "What? Where are we? What was that? What's going on?" Mike's frustration flared. His voice rose. "Don't shout. We passed the trial. We survived. That's what matters, right?" Lizzie smiled warmly. "I've been told everything. Now I'm here to help you." "What?" "I thought I finished all those tasks and that madman would let me go." Lizzie laughed. "Sorry. That's the voice. That's what he's called, the voice. He's just doing his job. This was only the first stage, the selection. You passed it. You won't see the voice again." "I thought I won. I thought I won the game." "Won? Oh no, Mike. The game is only just beginning." Lizzie took his hand and kissed him on the cheek. "Come on. I'll explain everything. You're lucky to have a Lizzie like me." Mike, confused and weak, followed the smiling girl. "The game is just beginning," he murmured hoarsely. "Yes, Mike. The game is beginning."